Hey guys, I'm Tom Roy, and I've been skating for over 20 years. I'm here to give you all the details that you need to know to learn tricks as fast and efficiently as possible, and of course make it fun in the process. Every trick has that one tip that you should never forget. Once you know what that is, it's in the bag. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. Before we get into it, if you guys are liking our tutorials, be sure to subscribe and turn those bell notifications on. First off, thank you guys so much for your patience. I've endured 2 injuries back to back. First my ankle, now my knee. It's taking forever to heal, so I can't do much for popping at the moment. But thankfully, we're able to do some quarter pipe tutorials in the meantime, which has been awesome. So I'm excited to teach you guys back disasters today. Let's get into it. When you're first learning this trick, it's actually a lot easier to do on smaller coping like this, because if you're coming back in, your wheel won't hang up as easily. But for today, we're going to be teaching on that other quarter pipe. Since this trick is mainly doing a back 180 without popping, you have to get really comfortable doing the power slide back 180s before you take it to the coping. So a good way to do that is to just practice power sliding up on the quarter pipe, and once you get really comfortable with that motion, then you can step it up. Once you're ready to try the back disasters, a good way to practice getting used to it is to just launch back 180s onto the quarter pipe deck. That gets you real comfortable before you're ready to actually stall the coping and go in. Another way you can do it is to commit to the disaster, but land way up on the deck, and then you can step off. That's a good way to get real comfortable with it, and then you start to get the feeling of getting onto it before you're ready to go in. But we'll get into all those details shortly. Now let's get into the foot position. Really important tip with this trick is your front foot placement. So you want to have your back foot on this tail, obviously, but your front foot, you're going to want to have it up on the nose already. So it's already on that curve, and that's what's going to help you take the back disaster back in after you're in it. So you want your front foot just slightly up on the concave, and you want it at an angle. If you have it straight like this, it makes it a lot harder to push your nose down when you're coming back into the quarter pipe. But when you have it at this angle, it's a lot easier to go up on your foot, and your knee bending matches the direction that you're going to be going. You don't want your foot and your knee to be facing this way while your body is facing this way. Your body leans in toward the quarter pipe on this trick, so that's why it's important to angle yourself and to not be parallel with your board. Now the back foot. It can actually be more straight than your front foot. The front foot is what needs to be angled, but the back foot can be more parallel with your board. I like to have my toe hanging off just slightly so I can get the scoop, because you want to be able to push your board this way to get into the disaster. So hang your toe off a little bit, and you want it up on that concave, because that's how you're going to lift it right before you get into it. Your front foot is pressing down in the center of your nose, up on those toes, and your back foot is pressing down in this back right pocket, or if you're goofy, back left pocket. Just like I taught with rocks and fakies, it's important where you're looking as you're rolling up to the trick. Same concept. As I'm rolling up to the back disaster, I got my eyes on the coping when I'm way back here, far away from even getting to the trick. That just helps your balance out, and it helps you focus in on where you're going to lock in. Stare on that coping till you're in the trick. Then, as you're in the trick, you want to be looking down at your board and at your feet. And right as you roll away, then you can start to look just a little bit ahead of you, maybe a few feet, and that makes your balance a lot better. Now we're ready to approach the coping. So let's talk weight distribution. As you're rolling up, you want your weight to be mostly on your back foot. But as you're getting into the disaster, that's when you shift your weight to your front foot, because you're going to need to push down on that nose to lift your board up to get those wheels past the coping. So pressure down on your back toe as you're rolling up, more weight down on your front toe after you're in the disaster and going back in. Okay, right as you're approaching the coping, slightly push down on your tail, let those front wheels get just past the coping, lift up, and then you start power sliding. Just before you're halfway through the power slide, that's when your back wheels should bounce off the coping, and then that guides you to turn all the way and lock into the disaster. And before you push down on the tail, it's really important to twist your shoulders. You wind up, twist your shoulders, and right as they're twisting like this, that's when you scoop. That's what helps you actually rotate all the way. You got to time it up perfectly, but twisting your shoulders has everything to do with rotating and skateboarding. The goal is to be facing the direction that you're going to be going back down the quarter pipe. So try to lock in as quick as you can, and just think, you want to lock in so you're facing down already. Wherever your head goes, your board's going to follow you. One hack you can do is to think as if you're doing a backside pivot, but just scoop a little harder and let those wheels bounce off the coping so your board can rotate. Now let's talk the way that your body angles. As you get the scoop down, you're getting into it, while you're in the back disaster, you want to be standing out at an angle, just like I taught in my past quarter pipe tutorials. Stand out about 45 degrees from the quarter pipe, because if you're up on top, good luck. You're going to end up clipping the coping on your way in. No one wants that. But if you're too far down here, then you might get hung up on the coping as well. So you want to think, angle out. That's going to help your body to lean forward when you're coming in. All that momentum is going to help you lift it and bring your board back in so you don't get hung up. Also, a good way to think of it is to just land with the center of your board on the coping. Not too close to the back wheels, not too close to the front wheels. You want to make sure those back wheels are up in the air while you're in the disaster. A good tip that will help with back disasters is to think of keeping your back leg straight while you're locking in and bending your front leg. That's what helps you get that lean. So lastly, I can't stress this enough. Don't be standing straight up on the quarter pipe when you're in the disaster. If you're ready to do one, make sure you're leaning in at that angle, because leaning straight in, that momentum is what's going to bring those back wheels up over the coping, and then you can roll away and get stoked. That's all I got for back disasters, guys. Thank you again for your patience as I recover from this knee injury. We'll be back at it soon. But for now, let's do some. And after you watch some disasters, make sure you stick around for the key takeaways before you click away, because that's what you can screenshot and take home with you and hang on to for when you're ready to try them. You guys left some good comments on our Instagram for this trick, but next trick you want to see on a quarter pipe, comment below. We'll see what we can do. Before you watch another tutorial, be sure to hang on to these key takeaways. Put that front foot up on the concave of your nose. Put that back foot over the back pocket so you can scoop. Use your back foot to lift your board, scoop, and bounce those wheels off the coping. Angle your body out from the quarter pipe. Straighten your back leg while you bend your front leg. And shift your weight from your back foot to your front foot. See you in the next tutorial.